In the name of Allah, the most compassionate, the most merciful, my dear friends and fellows in Pakistan and abroad, my name is Abdul Khaliq Darwish. Today we are going to talk about something which is very important to each one of us, which is really important to each one of us. This one is that can we protect ourselves from being hurt, from being emotionally disturbed, from being so much mutilated emotionally, mentally. Dear friend, we need to understand it because many of the people in this world, many of the people around us, they are found complaining that why did it happen to my life? Why did he do that? Why didn't she do that? Why did she do that? I was not expecting something as horrible as this one from him, from her. They should not have done that. I was not I was not expecting anything like this one. Rather, I was feeling proud of them. I was of the view that I'm not alone. Rather, this person, he or she, this person is just like me and will never ever deceive me, will never ever ditch me anywhere else, rather will stand along with me. This person is my buddy, etc. etc. So we need to understand actually why we do get hurt prior to prior to prior to knowing whether can we protect ourselves from it, how can we protect ourselves from it. First of all, we need to understand why does it happen, why we do get hurt, why we are put in the emotional pain, why do we feel like I have become very much vulnerable and troubled emotionally, mentally. Dear friends, it is all about our expectation. We people are found expecting a decent behavior from someone else, from a person upon whom we are relying heavily. We do start relying heavily upon some of the people. We do start expecting good things. We do start expecting not only that this person will never ever deceive me, rather, he, she will be willing, will be desperate, will be committed to me, and will be ready to make any sort of sacrifice for me, if at all he, she finds me in the trouble, in the pain. Dear friends, these expectations actually does kill us. Our expectations from the people, whether little or more, these expectations does kill us. It should not have been killing us a lot. It should have it shouldn't have been doing that with us actually. But it happens, it is a reality. It does happen very frequently. It does happen with so many of the people. It does happen with the people around us. It does happen with we ourselves as well, because that is something which is very common. We people are found expecting, attaching our expectations from the other people, and these expectations are responsible. These expectations are actually responsible for we being hurt, for we being in trouble. We start trusting some of the people, we start trusting few of the people, we start trusting one of the person, and we our trust grows in that particular person. And the more trust and the expectations does grow upon a person, the more and more vulnerable we does become actually. It is our vulnerability, it is our sensitivity. We should understand this thing, that as long as I'm attaching my expectations, good expectations from someone else, the more expectations I do have from someone else, the more vulnerable I am. The more trust I am putting in someone else, the more vulnerable I become actually. As for the other people are concerned, no matter how close they are, not to talk about the distant people, not to talk about our friends, not to talk our friends, not to talk about the stranger, not to talk about neighbors and the relatives and the other people, even the closest of people. I think so that they think differently. If at all we are ready to make sacrifices for those people, if at all we have been making sacrifices for those people, it does not automatically mean that they too are ready to make the sacrifices for we ourselves as well. It might not be so. It might, because they people do think differently. They don't feel the same. Maybe somebody had attached the expectations from us, but we couldn't fulfill that expectation, and due to that, they people did get hurt. Likewise, if at all we people are attaching the some decent expectations from someone else, there are a huge amount of chances that that particular person is not going to come up to our expectations, and we are going to feel hurt. We are going to feel ourselves in the trouble. People do ditch us each other, may mean so frequently, so often, so frequently. Despite all that, why are we found trusting in other people? Why are we found, attaching our expectations from the other people? We shouldn't have been doing that at all. We should not have. If at all we want to protect ourselves, if at all we don't want to become vulnerable, if at all we don't allow other people, if at all we don't allow other people to hurt us, to do the bad with us, I think we should stop making good expectations from the other people. It does not mean that we should start expecting them that they will extend a kind of criminal behavior. Sometimes even they do so. Sometimes even they do so. As far a human being is concerned, a human being on the one hand is not very easy to understand. A human being on the one hand is not very easy to understand. On the other hand, a human being is very much unpredictable at the same time. A human being is neither so easy to understand and nor so much predictable. The people are unpredictable. Now look upon the spouses, what they do to each other. So many of the divorces are taking place, so many of the broken families are are being created here in this world. And look upon what we do to our offspring, to our children. We do make every imaginable sacrifice for our children. Every parent, every father, every mother, I think they do make every imaginable sacrifice for their children. But what the children do to their parents in return, there are fewer children who are found treating well their parents, once the parents are dependent upon their children. Overwhelming number of some of the cases, in some of the cases they do treat evenly, neither so good nor so bad. But in certain other cases, the children are found treating bad to their mother, to their father. So they are found ditching their parent. They want to get rid of them. That's so painful, so troublesome. I think it is fine that if at all we are found making the sacrifices for our children, because that is something very natural. But as for the unnecessary pampering is concerned, as for I think so, as for expecting so much from our children is concerned, I think that is not fair at all. That is not so good for us actually. That is not good for we ourselves, because it does actually mean that we are expecting so much from the children, but the children might not be willing to come up to our expectations, because they will be having their own pressing problems, they will be having their own priorities. They might not be able to dedicate themselves for the parents, and they might not be given the top priority to their parent. The parent might not be one of their priorities even. So if this be the case, look upon the parents, the way they will be feeling. What does it mean? Does it mean that we shouldn't be getting married, we shouldn't be creating the trying to create the families, we shouldn't be raising the children? Not at all, not at all, not at all. We need to do all that. But the only thing is that we should stop excessive pampering. We should be trying to fulfill what their needs are, but it doesn't mean that we should also we shouldn't be destroying and spoiling our own life for the sake of our children. Raising the children, that's fine, but why to destroy our own life for for the children? I think we should treat them equally. We should treat them fairly and squarely, and that is enough, I think so. spoiling our own life for the sake of the children, that might not be so good, that might not be so fair. Why? Because maybe in our old age we are not going to be treated well by our children, and look upon then what would be the feeling of the parents, obviously they will be in the deeper pain. And today we are going to discuss how can we protect ourselves from feeling that much troubled and that much pain. We need to protect ourselves, because protecting ourselves from the pain, from the trouble, from the emotional traumas, that is something which must be taken into consideration. And I think that we need to work upon it, we need to think upon it, we need to discuss upon it, we need to learn, we need to read about it, we need to listen upon this, that why we do get hurt and how can we protect ourselves from being hurt, because being hurt is not such an uncommon phenomena. It does happen so frequently, it does happen so usually. So we need to take care of it. Thank you.